Hey, hello everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, we'll tell you about the recreational and cultural highlights available in Ward 1. Joining us to discuss this and much more is our Ward 1 Councilman and our Mayor Pro Tem, Maggie Knudsen. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me.
How are you?
Fantastic.
Family's good? Everybody's good?
We're great.
That's good to hear.
Holidays are behind us. It's January. Kids are back in school. Everything's great.
We are well on our way in 2025. Hard to believe, but it's coming fast. And you know the ward very well. It's your stomping ground. For those of you out there not exactly sure where Ward 1 is located, well, don't worry. We're going to show you on the map. Basically, this is the area that is just west of the downtown. You catch a little bit of the downtown, but west of the downtown runs along US 95 to the south and then goes all the way to the northwest. It's an interesting ward because it covers a big geographic area.
And it looks like a reindeer.
Yeah, it does look like a reindeer too. I always say that. So, well, a lot going on within your ward, especially from Parks and Rec and Cultural Affairs perspective. So we're going to jump in and introduce our first guest here. Our first guest leads our Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Department. Joining Mayor Pro Tem and me is Maggie Plaster. Maggie, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great.
You have nothing going on in your department. It is a busy place.
We are a busy department.
You know, Mayor Pro Tem, did you know how the trivia on how their department actually started? I didn't know this.
I know it's had several names because I've been through multiple names. It was Leisure Services in the beginning, I think, but I don't know how it was started.
So this is interesting. Maggie, why don't you tell us, 75 years ago, how did this begin?
Yeah, so 1949, right? Is that 1949, we were established as a USO club for airmen at Nellis.
Didn't know that. I
so that was the first.
That was the first foray into Parks and Rec. Who knew?
Why are you calling me out on TV? Like I should have known that.
I didn't know it either. I didn't know it either. So that's good stuff. And Maggie, I think that's really interesting. Is, I mean, of course, we know that you have facilities, Parks Rec centers, parks all across the valley. Tell us about parks in Ward 1, though. Specifically in Ward 1, you have quite a bit going on.
We use a software called Placer AI, and it's been great. So it shows us how many people visit our parks each year. There's 18 parks in Ward 1, and the most visited park is at All-American, the football park.
Yeah.
And I think it had 600 plus.
Yeah, 640,000, Maggie.
Visit last year, 9 million visitors to your parks in total.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. And then what are the other ones? Rainbow Family and Doc Romeo are number 2 and 3. And we had pretty great event at Doc Romeo recently when we painted that skate park.
It was super fun, and I was so interested in like the design, seeing it from a high level that I followed up with a tour of Metro going in the helicopter.
Oh yeah.
And was able to kind of hang out the window taking pictures of it. It was super
nice.
Cool. The artists did an amazing job, and that is a very, very popular park.
That's very cool. Yeah, the attendance, Maggie, good Lord, at Doc Romeo, it's 219,000 people, almost 220,000, and then the Rainbow Family Park. Almost 135,000 visitors in a year. That's amazing.
And if you go to those parks, like they're big, there's lots of things to do there.
Yeah.
So there's baseball stadiums at Rainbow Family, there's the skate park, there's baseball stadiums at Doc Romeo. So this is little leagues coming in, this is families spending time with each other. There's big grassy areas, there's dogs, there's always people walking. There's exercise facilities, there's a lot of stuff to do in the parks here.
And I think we have something special at Rainbow Family that we don't have everywhere is the bars that Las Vegas Bar Stars participate. They do all of their calisthenics classes there.
If you want to do pull-ups, there's like a whole bar station there, and it was Maggie's team that kind of put all these bars in.
Bars, these kind of bars, like, not these kind of bars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like all bars. I'm okay with all bars.
Yeah, we include all.
Yeah, but if you're like a pull-up fanatic, there's a whole bunch of bars there you can go and do pull-ups. Super fun.
That's really cool. Something for everybody. You know, Maggie, too, I think it's interesting to note that we should tell people, if you're interested in any of the parks we're talking about, you can go on the city's website, lasvegasnevada.gov. Go to the Parks and Rec department, and you can find all these parks. There's a description of each and every one of them, and it'll give you some good indication of what amenities they have, depending on what you're interested in doing. So check that out. But let's talk about some of the things you have going on specifically in Ward 1. Cragen Park, you've got a big project coming up, right?
That park's going to be closed for a year. we're pulling out, I mean, I think we pulled out 300,000 square feet of turf.
Wow.
To establish one baseball field and 2 soccer fields there. And it will be used by Las Vegas Downtown Soccer Club, but also by Hyde Park Middle School, which is so great because it should be getting use all throughout the day and then in the evenings as well.
One of the reasons why this is important, like I have kids, talk about them all the time, so I bring my kids to the parks, and then it does encourage ideas and thoughts about how it could better suit the needs of our community.
Yeah.
So what I saw at Cragen Park, and this is a whole team that works on it, but what I saw is when you're there with the kids, there's a lot of older folks that live in that area that are looking for a place to walk around. So in the retrofit, there's soccer parks for the kids, but there's walking track for for the folks who are looking for a little bit of exercise too.
It's just to the
so
west.
it's something really for everybody, and we have an amazing team with Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs that kind of put together those thoughts and listen to the community and then deliver every single time.
That's great. So change is coming there, and it's going to be done about when, Maggie, all finished?
It should be before the summer.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
And then that Rancho Oki dog park coming in, right?
Yeah, that's been a long time coming. I feel like if there's one thing that really helps build community and brings a neighborhood together, it's a dog park.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And this one's really special because it is for the neighborhood. It only has 5 parking stalls. We're putting this dog park in a pretty small space.
And a really giant art sculpture too. It'll be a giant Scotty dog. His Scotch 80s is right behind there, so I'm very excited about that.
Cool.
And then a giant yellow hydrant, which I think
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And in our next guest, we'll be talking about art, but that's been a really important concept for me is to bring in as much public art into the area as I can, because I think it really helps solidify what the area is all about, which is enjoying Las Vegas for what it is. It's unique, it's eclectic, and it's fun to see.
I like it. Those are some great amenities there. And then Maggie, let's talk about Ansan Sister Park. You have some stuff going on there as well. That's farther to the west in Ward 1.
It is. We are pulling out a sand volleyball court there that gets no use at all. And we're covering that over and putting in 2 picnic pavilions and just making some general improvements to the park.
And that's what people ask for. So there was surveys done, but when I knock on doors or when I'm talking to constituents, like they're pretty clear about what they want, what they hope for, and what they expect. And like I said, the team here at the city just always delivers.
You're very good, Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem, about listening to your constituents too, and making sure that you're kind of aligning what we're doing with what their desires are, which is what government's supposed to do. And of course, you got a great team to help you get all that done.
And I want to give a shout out to Public Works, because they're the ones who actually make the construction happen in parks.
I think they do kind of play a role. Joey Paskey and her folks, they have something to do with that, that's for sure. And then you have some upcoming events in Ward 1. Maggie, you want to talk about Get Outdoors Nevada, great partner with us. You have a couple of cleanups coming up, right?
Well, we just had one last week at Rotary Park. They help us with a volunteer program at the City of Las Vegas, and they coordinate 2 events per ward. So the next one in Ward 1 is March 8th for the Bonanza Trail, and it's going to be a cleanup and a tree planting.
Wow. And then those happen pretty much on a regular basis, right?
Yeah, when it's a tree planting, there's only certain times of the year that's appropriate. Yeah. So it's usually like one in the fall and one in the spring per ward.
So if people want to volunteer, they want to take part, what's the best way to kind of get connected to do that? Because it seems like when you do these events, Mayor Pro Tem, you get big crowds come out.
Get Outdoors Nevada is a great partner, so they're the ones that kind of organize the events. But if you want to reach out to my office, there's lots of ways to volunteer and give back to the community. So I usually ask people, like, what are you interested in doing? Do you want to be outdoors? Do you want to be with kids? Do you want to be with seniors? Do you want to work with folks who are in house? Do you want to work with animals? Try to find out what they're passionate about and then plug them in. And the city has a number of ways to plug in.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then Maggie, as far as when these cleanups, this is volunteers to get out and do this stuff. And talk about that a little bit. We've got great grounds crews that go out and do the work in our parks, but when we get the volunteers, talk about the added dimension that we get by having that many volunteers come in that kind of go beyond what our folks would do on a regular basis.
Yeah, so we definitely try to focus on the parks that our grounds maintenance staff can't get to everything. There's just not enough of them. We keep adding parks to the city, but not always adding corresponding staff. So Get Outdoors Nevada often focuses on micro trash, just little pieces of trash throughout the park that we
cigarette butts, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
I would say an added benefit is like you get to know your neighbors. That's what I
always
love
talked about
about
that,
Las Vegas is if you are one of those folks that drive home and close the garage and stay inside. Las Vegas has so much to offer. Get out and meet your neighbors. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah. Maggie, we just have a couple minutes left. Is there anything that you want to add about your department that you want to talk about, especially as it relates to Ward 1?
Well, don't want to skip over all the recreational opportunities in Ward 1. So we have Mirabelli Community Center. We have Liebern Active Adult Center. Nearby, we have Garside Pool. That's our outdoor pool and probably one of the more fun outdoor pools we have. And then we have Charleston Heights Arts Center that has a theater and Rainbow Company.
Very nice theater. Yeah, it's a big theater.
And all of those facilities are pretty close to each other, but offer a wide range of programs for the community.
And my kids will be at Mirabelli and Charleston Heights Arts Center for the summer. So I highly recommend the programming. It's always been top notch. The staff are great, and my kids absolutely love it. So I wouldn't recommend anything that I wouldn't do myself.
That's very good. I like that. And then Maggie, again, if people are interested in connecting with our offerings, what's the best thing for them to do?
Definitely LasVegasNevada.gov, and then you look for the bar that says residents, and then Parks and Rec, and everything that we have to offer is right there.
Yeah, it's really easy to sign up for our programs too. The whole gamut. You want to sign your kids up for swim classes or whatever it might be.
It's on that page
it's
too.
It's a piece of cake. Yeah.
And it takes you to Civic Rec, where you can create an account and sign up for all that we have to offer.
Exactly, and there's a lot. So I like it too because your department, it can be sports, it can be cultural, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But you offer such a wide range of things. No one should be bored.
It's not a boring city, and it's not a boring Ward 1.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, Maggie, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a pleasure having you on again. We need to take a short break, but please stay with us. We continue our Ward 1 discussion next from a cultural perspective. It's right after this. Welcome back, everyone. It's part 2 of our discussion with Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. There are a number of major projects underway in Ward 1. Joining Mayor Pro Tem and me for this conversation is Jennifer Clevin. She's the Deputy Director for Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs with a focus on cultural affairs. Jennifer, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Really happy to be here.
Good to have you. Welcome to the city, I should say as well. You've been here how long now?
I've been here 9 months.
9 whole months.
But I've lived in the city of Las Vegas my whole life.
Yeah, your whole life. And as I recall, I think your mom worked for the fire department.
She did.
Yeah,
she did.
You were well, in fact, as well.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, you learn something new every day. I knew your mom. Wow, that's
exactly right.
It's all coming to that.
It's all in the family here.
Yeah.
Jennifer, talk about, I think people know that we have a cultural affairs arm of your department here at the city. Talk a little bit about kind of what guides that, because then we're going to talk about, you have some amazing projects coming up in your ward, especially in the medical district. So talk a little bit about kind of what your guiding, what your roadmap is.
Yeah, so especially with public art and galleries, we're using our public art master plan that was approved in April of 2024. That really helps us set intention about where we're going to place art, who we're going to work with on that art, and then how do we really get it to fruition. Besides that, when we're talking about other cultural performances and festivals, we really work with the community to better understand what's going to speak to them, because ultimately we're building those bridges for them. We're producing a lot of work for the residents of the city.
Yeah, and I think what's really exciting is that you've got some very clear goals in mind of what you want to accomplish. So this isn't just kind of, we're just going to stick something here, throw it out there. This is really a great master plan.
It really is. It gives a lot of intentionality about what we're doing and how we're placing the work, who we're working with. We really want to make sure that there's public art in all the wards. And so we work with all of our council people to make sure that they're appropriately placed.
Yeah, exactly right. And there's funding for the arts. Talk about that a little bit. People may not know where some of this comes from.
Yeah, so in the early 2000s, the Percent for the Arts ordinance was adopted, and that provides about 1% of all capital improvement projects specifically for art, for public art purposes. So we use that money to strategically place art, and we really want to see the community kind of come together and unify around that work.
Yep.
So it gives us, again, this kind of pot of funds that we can distribute across the city.
Nice. Now, near and dear to you, Mayor Pro Tem, is the medical district, and we've got some great projects that will enhance that medical district as it develops, specifically in the area of art. And this got to be exciting for you.
I think it's absolutely critical, and I'll tell you why. Is I do a whole bunch of stuff with the medical students and dental students and nursing students, and you can tell they're young and they want to be able to Instagram a bunch of stuff. And so that was really the concept that we've talked about, is what's something that's symbolic for them that they can Instagram, send to all their family and friends, but more importantly, from a medical district perspective, is they'll want to practice their residencies here. And if they do happen to leave the state, we want them to come back and show their kids, this is where they Instagrammed, this is the picture they took, this is something that was meaningful for them. And that's what public art does. It gives you a memory. So it's not just walking down the sidewalk, it's seeing something that sparks an image in your head. And hopefully this is part of what brings a better healthcare environment for Southern Nevada, is the places that these doctors and nurses and dentists remember.
Yeah, and good point. And obviously something that's going to be there in years to come as well. So let's talk about some of these projects. On Wellness Way, they have a mural called Harmony and Bloom. Jennifer, tell us about that.
Yeah, Harmony and Bloom was our first project in the medical district. We worked with artists Ross Takahashi and Amy Soul on a mural that spans the whole length of the wall. I believe it's 80 feet.
Wow.
It's very colorful. It shows a lot of different gradients, and it's really supposed to help people connect back with nature and provide kind of a positive outlook as maybe they're going through treatment or they're just going into the medical district.
Yeah, that's very calming too. When you see that, especially if you're going in there for treatment. That's very nice. And then you've got another project called The Healer. Now, tell us about that. What is that?
Yeah, The Healer is a new artwork by artist Luis Varela Rico, and that's going to be kind of a monumental piece that depicts a healthcare worker and with a stethoscope, really listening to the heartbeat of the city. And that'll be placed in the medical district, and it'll really give, I think, a lot of identity to the location and a lot of unity for the entire medical district.
Now, Jennifer and Mayor Pro Tem, you guys are still looking for a final location for that, right? Has it been determined? Or?
We're really close.
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping it'll be on Charleston. We're trying to make sure that we fit naturally and cohesively with UMC, because UMC just did a massive renovation. So we want to make sure that the project looks nice and compatible with what they're doing.
How big is The Healer? How large are we talking?
Quite large. The figure is about 20 feet.
Wow.
So you'll definitely be able to see it as you're driving by, but you'll certainly have a good time if you get up close and you can see a lot of the technique the artist uses.
Wow, that's exciting. Very exciting. So that's The Healer project. Timeline on that, you guys? What are we kind of looking at, do you think?
Public art can sometimes be a lengthy process, so I hate to put a deadline on it, but I'm hoping it'll be installed in 2026.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not too far down the road, and next year, say so. And then another project, this, I think, you do have a location, northeast corner of Shadow and Wellness Way, Star Child?
Yes.
Talk about Star Child.
Star Child is a really fun piece. So, thinking about this Instagrammability of an art piece, it's something that brings a lot of fun and discovery when you're looking for art. So Star Child is a piece by Mark Brandovic, and when he was developing it, he was thinking about his own connection to Las Vegas and how he was born at UMC. At the same time he was doing research, there was a banner that said that UMC was one of the #1 places to deliver your child. So he focused in on that sense of youthfulness and sort of depicted this baby, this really exuberant baby with lots of stars around it. And so it'll be placed in a great area. It'll kind of speak to the OBGYN developments that are around there as well.
All right, that's at Shadow Lane and Wellness Way. So you're getting all this cool stuff in your ward.
I think it's really cool. And I always tell people, because I talk about it at every public thing I do, because I am so excited that I don't get to pick out the art. I never weigh in on what art goes in or what it looks like.
That's good.
Because I'm not allowed to pick out my own clothes at home. So I figure I'm not weighing in on public art. But what I love about it is public art is something you hate or you love. but it makes you talk about it. And that's what we're going for, is going back to like why you clean up parks, is you get out, you meet people, you talk to them. It's okay if you hate something, you talk about it. It's better than hating the world around you.
Right.
So it's all about inspiring communication and conversation and remembering something that ties you to that location.
Couldn't agree more. Well said. Let's move on. Another project, Brainstorm. This is at the location of Shadow Lane in front of the UNLV Dental School. So this is about teeth or something? Or
Brainstorm, actually, it's a really good segue, because Brainstorm is going to be one of those pieces that you walk up to and you're going to want to talk to somebody about, because there's a lot of abstraction in it. Wayne Littlejohn is the artist, and his idea was to create a sculpture that really depicted the human brain. And the base of it also ties in the Lou Ruvo Center. So it's one of our smaller public art pieces, but it does really elicit more investigation into the piece, because it's smaller and it's off the sidewalk. You'll be encouraged to kind of walk around it and take it all in a 360 way. Being in front of UNLV, it's great for students as well. It really helps them, I think, understand how art can be meaningful and healing.
Yeah, and that's at the corner of, in front of the UNLV Dental School there on Shadow Lane. Is it there now, Jennifer?
It's not.
Okay.
It's still in production.
Okay.
And that and Star Child should both be placed before the end of this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're
Very
doing a
soon.
lot of ribbon cuttings or unveilings or whatever we're going to do for art. So
It's all fun, and I think I'm pretty honest about this, is being in office, you're trying to figure out how you can have an impact, and the best way for me to figure out what I should do with my time is looking at my kids. So Kate loves art and wants to be an artist and loves drawing, so I give something for her, and then Andrew loves performing, and then Jennifer also gets to impact the Rainbow Youth Theater Company and the Charleston Heights Art Center, which we talked about, and Andrew gets to perform more. So I figure if I make it better, the world better for my kids, hopefully it's making it better for everyone else too.
See, and that's in a microcosm, everybody. That's why the Cultural Affairs arm of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, it's just got something for everybody. You're interested in this or that, we've got you covered. So, final project, I love this, the free aspirin sign. Now, this was a restored sign from the Neon Museum. Is that where this came from?
Yes. So the Neon Museum has so many different signs that they can't always put them on display.
Right.
This one happened to be in storage, but it really speaks to the medical district. Originally, this sign was placed at a 76 gas station on Las Vegas Boulevard.
And they gave out free aspirin?
They
Jennifer, was that the deal?
So as you drove into Las Vegas, you could leave a couple bucks with them, so that on your way back, you could pick up some aspirin and you'd have enough for a tank of gas home to LA.
I see.
So having the concept of aspirin and sympathy, I think a lot of that speaks to the medical district. So the Neon Museum has been a great partner in placing it in the medical district, so it's on public view.
Very good.
Yep.
And so, Jennifer, the Yesco Sign Company, are they the ones who restore these for us and make it all come to life?
It was a partnership with Yesco, the Neon Museum, and our Public Works team and Cultural Affairs, because it's right there in the middle of Charleston, right across from UMC.
Yes.
And our Public Works team kind of worked to make sure that it had a prominent place on Charleston. So if you drive by after sundown, it's a big, well-lit sign that says free aspirin and tender sympathy. It's really super fun.
You know, I love that we have some of those restored signs all up and down Las Vegas Boulevard, too, that just depict some of the previous eras of Las Vegas, and those signs get us, a second lease on life, if you will. So let's go over there in the medical district as well. Jennifer, we're just about out of time. Is there anything else you want to add related to what you guys are doing within the Cultural Affairs division?
At the Charleston Heights Art Center on February 7th and 8th, we'll have the Contemporary West Dance Theater there for their Black History Month performance.
Oh, excellent.
And then at the end of this month, the Rainbow Company will be performing The Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson story, and that'll be for 2 weeks. So that's our big musical of the year, so get your tickets now because it usually does sell out.
It does, and you folks, if you've never seen one of the Rainbow Company productions, you're in for a treat because they are really good. These are young people, some adults as well, but boy, the talent in our community is just, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that, and Mayor Pro Tem, you're just, Ward 1's happening.
Amazing things in Ward 1. Thanks to a city team.
Exactly. All right. Jennifer Clevin, thank you so much for being on the Pro, Deputy Director of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. Mayor Pro Tem, stick around. We got one more thing to do. We need to take another short break, but when we come back, we're going to tell you about the events coming up in Ward 1. It's right after this.
Touchdown! Did you see that? Whoa, we scored? Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
If you smoked, this new lung cancer screening could save your life. Visit SaveByTheScan.org.
Thanks for staying with us, everyone. We're closing out the show with a look at what's coming up in Ward 1. And Mayor Pro Tem, this is a nice tradition. You have Brews with Brian, and I love it because it can be sudsy brews or coffee kind of brews.
It's both, and the different kinds of people come out. So
Exactly.
It makes it super fun, and I like the informal conversations. I just think it's much easier to connect with people if you're breaking bread and cooking your drinks together. It's a lot easier to find out what's important to them.
I couldn't agree more. Next one's gonna take place on Wednesday, February 26th. From 5:30 to 6:30. So this will be a Brews with Brian where, you know, it might have a little bit of libation in it. This is going to be at the Bagel Cafe, a great location there at 301 North Buffalo, between West Cliff and Summerlin Parkway.
Yeah, and I like I said, we get some of the regulars that come out every single time and connect and talk about their neighborhood, some of the neighborhood presidents, and then we get new people every now and then that want to talk about something that's important to them. And so it's just the best way to connect with me, and so I appreciate when people do come out.
Yeah, that's just a very informal thing too, as you're saying. Coming to City Hall, a little intimidating maybe, or even calling down here, but to just chat over a beer is.
And when people are afraid of elected officials sometimes, and they get really nervous talking to me, and so it's just a way. I usually have my kids with me, not at the nighttime ones, but the morning time ones. It's like we're all kind of trying our very best to make the world a better place. So sit down, find something you can connect with, and let's move on that.
Yeah, so it's a nice tradition that he's got going on. And if you're more of a morning person, he's also got Brews with Brian that where they do coffee, and we'll tell you about those when they come up as well. So, MPT, Mayor Pro Tem, I want to tell everybody out there, we always want to hear from you. So if there's something you'd like to share with our Mayor Pro Tem Knudsen, you can call him at 702-229-6405 or send him an email. His address is bknudsen@lasvegasnevada.gov. You can also visit our Ward 1 website or subscribe to the Mayor Pro Tem's newsletter, which you can do with that QR code right there. So great to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you in 6 weeks, and I'm excited to hear what else is going to be going on in Ward 1.
There'll be something.
I know there will be, so good to see you again. And folks, don't miss our next show, beginning with Olivia Diaz on February 6th. You can catch all of our City of Las Vegas TV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Also, watch for that QR code I mentioned after the show to subscribe to the newsletter. And don't forget, you can watch us live online at lasvegasnevada.gov/connect. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time around.